I'm back. I done went out. I got me something to eat. So I can get myself ready for tomorrow. You used to get Spanish food in the Bronx. When you buy Spanish food, you get some plantain with it. They wanted to charge me an order. $4, and the next one was $6. So, if it's only $6, you get a big old the aluminum pan, right? The small aluminum pan, that's $6. The little cup, like Chinese cup, is $4. So therefore, if I'm gonna pay for them at all, I'm just gonna give the $6 so I can get a bigger size. If I pay $4, you know, but either way, either or. That's neither here nor anywhere. I ain't getting none of them. I should have asked her, none don't come with your food? You don't get two? But that was $8. I think the last time I bought, they charged me, I think they charged me $12. I don't know, that guy was trying to flirt. He's singing all to me in Spanish, and I'm looking at him like, he probably cursing me out. He probably saying I'm the ugliest girl he ever saw. This black girl with this wannabe red hair that ain't even hers. Walking around here with these glasses on and this hat covering her face, making her look real boyish, if not like a boy. Yeah, saying all that in Spanish, so. But he was like flirting. Do guys flirt? I always took flirting coming from a girl. Do guys actually flirt? If y'all see this, whoever come across this video, comment below if you're a guy or if you are a girl that know a guy flirted with you. I mean, because I ain't experienced that. I mean, maybe the flirting that the guy's doing, maybe that's his game. You know, back in the day, we used to call it his game. He ain't got no game. He got some good game. I'll play his game, you know. Maybe that was their way of flirting. Like, yo, baby, what's your name? No, there ain't no flirting. That can't be flirting. Maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe so. Because we girls, I guess we girls get up on a guy and be like, you're looking kind of good in them clothes. That's a flirt, right? Well, I say that to Bishop. I ain't flirt with him. So if that's a flirt, I'm going to stop saying that to my Bishop. So what he grinning from ear to ear? He should start rebuking me. The blood of Jesus. Let me stop. I'm bugging out right there. I'm getting tired. But I be saying that to my Bishop. He be looking nice. I be like, look at you. He be like, huh? You don't hear me at first, you know. He be like, huh? I be like, look at you, looking all nice. I better tell Mother Anderson she better take you out somewhere. He be kickling. So if that's flirting, I don't want nobody to be thinking I be flirting with my Bishop. Because I don't go down that road. A football game. Oh, that's another way I can tell. I know that my husband is not the same husband. Because he ain't interested in his check no more. He used to argue with me. He used to be like, what's going on? I'd be like, what's going on? But I give him his money. I would give him his money. I became the payee after he got down where he is. Maybe just a year or two ago. Because he took care of his own money when his check came. It came on a card. At that time, it was some net spend or something. And he would ask for the card and I would give it to him. Right? you know, with no hesitation, I'll give it to him. He'll come, and then he'll come back and give me a card, and then he'll give me the card. Then he'll be like, you know what? I want some cookies to go with my pills. Tracy, you just had some pills. Yeah, but I want to take some more pills, and I want some cookies. Tracy, you can't take that. You got to keep the sugar down, you know? Oh, why are you doing that with my money? Why you don't want to give me my money? I'll be like, you know what? You know what? Take your card and don't bother me about it no more. This is us. And this is him. Nah, that's all right. You can't. What? Take the card, JC. Take the card. I don't want the card. I don't want it either. You just about chewed off my head for this card. Take this card. I don't want to take it. I walk away. He wait about an hour or two. What's up with these guys? Why they can't do what they gonna do right then and there? Why they gotta wait 5 and 10 hours? Cause you know why? Because they think I'm mad. They think, oh, let me let her calm down. She gonna change. She gonna change her mind. Why do they think that? Because they know that's like me. They know that's what I do. Hang on. They know that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, we'll just wait a while because Sharon, Evangelist Jordan, Sister Jordan, dog, cat, she gonna change her mind after a while. They don't be lying though. And he wait them hours or whatever, then he comes back and say, you know what? You can keep the card. And he'll just look down or look away or do a little smirk. Yeah, you can have the car. It's like, you sure, Tracy? Yeah, don't be, no. Go ahead, do what you need to. Go buy some. I don't know why people feel, why they feel like money is just like my thing. You know what? I just got the answer. Thank you, Holy Ghost. You know why they think that? Because I like to spin it. Because I like to look good. I like good stuff. I like good stuff. I like quality stuff. I like to buy stuff. So, we're going to dangle money up in front of her. Because that's how we're going to get her. Rude awakening. Do you hear what I'm saying? They wind up getting a rude awakening. Because I don't need their money. And let me just say this. Let me just explain something. At the age of 20, actually, let's rewind a bit to California, Los Angeles, California. That's where my husband was. That's where he's from. He's from LA, right? So, back in LA, I had to fend for myself. His family members did not take care of me. When his mom found out I was pregnant, that was all she wrote. Now, when I first got there, she was putting me in her car. She took me to see Mike Tyson's plantation. No, let me stop. She took me to go see what? Yeah, it was Mike Tyson, but it was his mansion. She took me to go see somebody else mansion, right? And she was telling me, you can't get in there unless he know you. And it was big. So when I actually went and saw the pictures of after the young lady died and his wife or whoever it was, I was like, wow, that's what it looked like inside. Like inside. Because I only saw the outside. Let me make sure I go right. So she was cool with me. Oh, we was bosom buddies. She'll be talking to me. She'll come and have a conversation with me. And then one day I woke up, right, to the voice of her and her son. Right? And next thing you know, he came inside the room where I was. And he said, my mama wants you. I said, your mother want me. And I'm saying to myself, it ain't supposed to be no conversation with me without him. Without your son. Whatever it is that you want to say to me, you need to say it to him as well. Whatever it is, right? So then he comes up close to me and says, oh, I told her that you was pregnant. I was like, uh-oh, here it goes. Let me see. But I'm going to be honest with you. I took it as my grandmother took it. Because my grandmother was cool with it. That's why she sent me to California. She said, you go in there, you and him get married, and he take care of that child. Or them children, you go on, that's your husband. Go ahead. So she paid for me to go to California so I could be with my husband. Right? And we wasn't even married yet. Right? So she called me in the living room and she sat both of us down, mainly me, because he had done talk to her. And she said, so you pregnant? I said, yeah, I'm pregnant. You know, I was excited. I thought grandma was going to be excited. I don't know whether it was, no, I don't think it was her first grandchild. But anyway, it was a grandchild coming. We was only 18 and 19. No, we was only 18 and 19. No, 19 and 20. Yeah, because I turned 18 there, and then I got pregnant a year later. So I was 19 and he was 20. I mean, those are good ages, you know what I'm saying? You know, nowadays society make it too young or whatever, but he was already a year away from being a grown man, a young man, and I was about 2 years from being it, right? So anyway, so I was like, yeah, I'm pregnant. She's like, Tracy, you know you need to take care of this child. Whatever. Yeah, ma, yeah, ma, yeah, ma, yeah, ma, yeah, ma. And that was the first and last conversation we had about that baby. After that, her attitude changed towards me. She ain't had no more conversations with me. You know, I would come out at times and she would be out there because she worked from 6 to 12 and she worked from 3 to 12 a.m. from 3 p.m. in the afternoon to 12 a.m. in the morning. And he worked from 6 in the morning to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it took me a while to catch on, but I was gathering that they were really trying to stay out of each other's paths. He get off when she start working, and she get off when he sleep. But everything changed. She didn't have too much to say to me. You know, he didn't have no conversation at all to say, the father. He didn't have nothing to say. Now that I'm thinking about it, he didn't have no conversation with me and him, asking him what he's going to do, you know? But anyway, I don't even know how I got down that path or what took me down there. But, you know, that's how it was. So I'm in it because I don't even know why I went into it. So anyway, so that was the deal. So I stayed out there in California until I was about 8.5 months pregnant. And I got kicked out of his mom's house. And then I went to his sister's house and I got kicked out of that house. Then I went to my cousin's house, which was my uncle's daughter. I believe not the oldest daughter, but one of the daughters. And I stayed with her in Beach Palm. Long Beach. Thank you, Holy Ghost. I stayed with her in Long Beach for about 3 weeks. I guess till I was about 9 months. So maybe I went to her when I was 8 months. And the half of the 6 months of me being pregnant, she got in a big fight with her husband at the time. Because Long Beach was really for the military. Yeah, I think certain people that was in the military. So I was on the plantation. I was on the campus where all the wives was. So, you know, it could have been a story with the military wives, you know what I'm saying? So, like Atlantic wives or basketball wives or something like that. It could have been military wives, and who knows, maybe they had one. But it was just them, because I think Long Beach was the Navy, because there was water there. So as long as you married to a military man, you could stay there. If you were not with him, or y'all broke up and it got to the military head, that wife had to leave. They looked out for the man more than the woman. You know, they have their own. I got distracted for a second. See how quick I get distracted. But anyway, come back, John. So yeah, it was. That's the life she was in. She was married to a military man that was a Navy man, and he used to beat her. I used to sit around and watch my father beat up a woman, and in the long run, he loved that woman so much that when she died, he cried on my shoulder, and it blew my mind. I was like, "You love this girl, and you beat this girl like she was like she was, I don't know, like she was meat. Now you sitting over here on my shoulder crying?" Of course, I let him cry. That was my daddy. Get off of me. Plus, I was younger then, you know. But he and I vowed that I mean, even though I was in relationships where me and a guy did fight, but he didn't beat me. I mean, like, come on, you want to fight? No. My father would just, and he had a quick reflex. He just slapped, because he slapped me a couple of times. Oh, Lord Jesus. We won't even talk about that. But I got in between. I was big out there, so I had to be 8.5 months pregnant, because it was a few weeks after that, if it wasn't the next week or the next day, that they separated. So he would fight her in the room, and I would come in the room. He would fight her in the kitchen, and I'll be in my room, and I'll hear him. And I mean, he actually was fighting her. It wasn't like they was having a conversation and they was having an argument. No. It wasn't an argument like, "What? Man, shut up." No, it was that type of, "You better shut up or I slap your head off. You better be quiet or I'll punch your face in." It was that type of argument. So I was bugging out. I was like, he going in on her like she a man. And she was light-skinned. She was nice looking. She was very light-skinned, right? And he started fighting her one day in the kitchen. And here I am. I was up in his face like this. I said, "Hit her again." Hit her again. And he looking down at me like, because he was tall. He looking down at me like, and she saying, "Shabby, move, leave it alone. I got it, Shabby. Leave it. You pregnant. He gonna hurt you." Really? You gonna hurt me? I'll try to bust your head up in here. You hit me. You better stop hitting my cousin. So you know what? He took it from the kitchen and went in the bedroom one night. I was like, oh, he trying to be slick. Hold up. Let me let him know who's in the house. I was scared as Methuselah. You know what I'm saying? But I was like this. Supposed to get me. Supposed to knock me out. Who gonna bend me? Who gonna fight for me? I don't care. He ain't hit my cousin. I bust up in the room like I was a rock. I said, yo, what's going on here? He turned to look at me. And then she was like, Sharon, you gotta leave. You gotta go out of here. Stop, Sharon. No, I got this. I just walked over to him. He's talking about, you better get your cousin. And I'm like, ain't nobody gonna get me. Not even you. So I don't know what you talking about. You know what? Somebody better get you. And you better pray to God that it ain't God. Because when God gets you, you ain't gonna be able to move. You know me. I had to throw my savior up in there and fight my battle. But anyway, he looking at me like, who is this girl? I said, you better stop hitting my cousin. You hitting her like she your property. You want some property? Ain't this your house, your property? You better stop hitting my cousin. It's gonna be some problem. I be like, you better not go to sleep. You better not go to sleep. And she was like, Shannon, stop threatening him. Let him think this is a threat. Let him hit you again. Let me hear you in here screaming again. I told him like I was his daddy. I said, let me hear her screaming again. You gonna be screaming next. What the crazy was I gonna do? But he stopped hitting her. He said, I'm leaving. I'm going out. I said, yeah, you better go out. And she real light skinned. She is like, her skin is like a white person. So you seen all the bruises on her face, around her neck. And she had to sit down. I was sitting down too. And I went over to her and I hugged her. She just started crying in my arms, stuff like that. I said, what is going on here, cuz? She said, I know. I said, you don't need this. I said, you too pretty for this. You don't need this. You don't need to be going through this. I'm trying to think. When she came to visit me, I wonder if she remembered that. Because her attitude changed towards me. I'm not talking about then. I'm talking about as it got older and we met again. It's just coming to me because we did meet. We met at Mother Giles while Mother Giles was alive. And I forgot about that. I did. But she told me, she said, you got to be careful. You can't be jumping in front of dangerous situations like that. I'd be no good if he do something and hurt that baby. That's one thing I didn't have to worry about with Tracy. Right? I knew for a fact that if that man would have touched me and hurt me, and my cousin would have told Tracy, they would have been there. Because Tracy got a crazy family. Right? I ain't scared of him, but I'm saying. I wasn't even worried about it. But let me explain. I'm not saying I wasn't worried about it because of what Tracy would have done, or Tracy coming to my ankles. Who knows? He probably wouldn't have did nothing. I don't know. But I seen Tracy anger before. Right? Not towards me, but towards somebody that was doing something to me. And he almost beat him to a pulp. You know? But I wasn't even thinking about that when I jumped in. So I told her, I said, don't worry. I said, I'm not worried about this. She said, I see, Sharon. I said, but you got to be here. She said, and you know what she said to me? She said, the Lord is really on your side. All them prayers that grandmama prayed was protecting you. She said, because you don't know my husband. My husband is very dangerous. I said, I see. And that is the reason why God had me go live with her. Because who knows? He probably would have killed her if I wasn't there. you know? A day or two, or maybe a week after, she called me inside. Because when he left that day, he never came back. So the next morning, she was all, when I got up, I think she was eating coffee or something, drinking coffee. And I noticed that she was crying. I said, you all right? She said, yeah, I'm fine. So I said, did the mister come back? And she was like, no. I said, well, maybe it's for the best. She said, maybe. She said, but then, you know, what am I supposed to do? And she started boo-hooing and crying again. And that's when I understood that she had nothing. She totally depended on that man. Not only for a place to live, but for her to eat and everything. She sorry, it was a notification. Oh, I know what I was talking about. I was talking about the football. And that's how we got into the money. Because I was saying my husband was really into the money at that time. Okay, so we'll leave that be. Let me finish this story and go get undressed and eat. But I think a few days she cried. I would hear her crying. I felt so sorry for her. Because she really loved him. She loved him. And the thing is that when she actually, the morning of that she told me that I had to leave, she said that, yeah. No, she didn't tell me I had to leave. She just told me that I would have to call mommy. And she said she's going to call her father, because her father's the one that contacted her for mommy, so that I have some place to stay. And she's going to tell her father what's going on, so that maybe they can, send for you to come back home. Because she already knew the story. She knew I had no place to stay. You know, I couldn't go back to her parent. I couldn't go back to Tracy's parents. And I couldn't go back to the sister. And nobody else was there volunteering to take me and a baby. You know, because nobody really wanted no baby in their house. You see how people live? Me, no. I sit here and let people bring up their thousands of kids in my house. But, they was not playing that. They didn't care nothing about it. Was a niece, a nephew. They didn't care nothing about it. Was a grandson, a granddaughter. You ain't bring no kids up in here. You better go back to New York City. Because I already know my son ain't nobody. I already know my brother ain't nothing. And he ain't going to do nothing. He ain't going to help. So, see, they knew all this. And that's what made it so bad. They didn't even have the audacity to school me and let me make a choice. They made the choice for me. You got him now you stuck with him. You want to go and have all these kids by him? Go ahead, because he's a no good man. But they couldn't even let me know so I can make a choice of whether I wanted to be with him or not. And I most likely would have been with him because of the simple fact I was pregnant by him. I had babies by him. So what? I was going to go take that responsibility and give it to somebody else. That's why I ain't got nobody sleeping in my bed now. Because that's my responsibility. Which I could have somebody sleeping in my bed now. Because all my kids is grown. I ain't got no kids to take care of. And if anybody come in my life, they ain't got nobody to take care of. Not even me. Because I take care of myself, you know. But anyway, to make that long story short, she said to me this particular morning, she said, right, Sharon, she said, me and his name was Kenneth. That's so crazy. His name just came to me like that. He said, me and Kenneth is no longer together, and I can't stay here since we're not together, because he done went out. I think he went on to his next assignment, right? And his next assignment was out of New York. So depending on how long they was going to be out, she would go with them. You could take your wife with you. So if they was going to be going like a year, 2 years, then that's a move, you know? You know, you don't necessarily lose that apartment. You always have a place to stay because you are in the military with this man. So even if you go to Paris and live somewhere out there, you're in the military home. But if you ever come back to Long Beach, you go right back to the house you was in, or one of them houses. So she said since they had split up, he had done put it to the head people. And so they gave her, so maybe it was a few weeks. It had to be a few weeks to a month, to some months, because I had to get my ticket and leave. I had to let them know. So she said he done let the head people know, so now she gotta go. And she was saying, I don't know where I'm going. And I was crying with her. I said, I wish I had some place to take you. Because I was telling her, inviting her to mommy house. Mommy helped raise them. I said, well, you know you can come to mommy house. Mommy will let you stay there. She said, well, I don't want to go to New York. I done got used to California. I don't know where she live. I think she live in the South now. I don't know what happened. But anyway, that was that story. So just to finish that story about my husband and the money. Yeah, that's how I know that his mind frame has changed. Because he don't ask nothing about no money. And he don't ask nothing about no football. Football was his thing. He took me to see the LA Rams, and I think the Rams and the Raiders was playing against each other. And he took me to see the first month or so I was there. He took me to a football game, and that was the passion. That was the passion of Los Angeles football. I think New York passion is basketball. I mean, they may have, and Jets. They may have. There's some New York football fans and basketball fans, you know? And I'm sure that's all over the world. But, this is Stanford versus BYU. I think this is college football. He used to tell me. So he used to say that the college people would play first before, if I got it right, before it actually went into the NFL. He's always, that's one reason why I had to keep the internet on, because I had to make sure he got to see his football. See, before you could watch it on television itself, Channel 7, now they got something that's called ESPN, and Channel 7 is included in the cable. So in order to see football, you had to buy the cable. You know, you could not have cable. You just put the cable in the back of the TV. If it ain't working, as long as you got an antenna going on, you can get all the local channels. But they done took all that out. They put all them local channels inside with the cable channels, and that's crazy. That's crazy. All right, so that's the story. You have a nice night. I'll probably be back later.